Hello there! My name is TOFIE. I am a composer and vocalist, and I also do vtubing over on Twitch. Today I'm going to be sharing with you a very special edited version of my very first track breakdown that I streamed live over on Twitch recently of my song Will the Raindrops Go featuring Jasmine. I hope that you will enjoy this small look into what went into the project, as well as a little bit of behind the scenes work. Please enjoy. Good morrow. Good morrow. Goodest. Morning. First of all, happy Sunday. Today, I am going to be doing our first ever track breakdown on the channel. I reckon that I'm gonna flounder around a little bit while I figure out what to talk about, but I hope that it will be interesting being able to see inside of the project file, and we're gonna explore all the little bits and pieces that make up Where Will the Raindrops Go featuring Jasmine, my friend Jazz. So that's what's on the menu for today. Let's go to the other screen. Okay, so first of all, we are going to watch the music video because I want you to see how it all came together. That's how it all came together. Ah, thank you. We released this song on the first day of spring last year, 2023. Probably one of the biggest projects that I've ever done in terms of the production value. Next up, I'd like to show you all kind of what went into. I made this like mini behind the scenes reel for the song, and I posted it back then, maybe like a week or so after the release date, and it's kind of silly, but it shows you kind of like what the early demos sounded like before Jazz did her recording work. And then also, again, like the time-lapse of the illustration, as well as a tiny little peek of what kind of went into the music video, the motion work as well. Right, so I'm gonna play the behind-the-scenes little reel for you now. I hope that you'll enjoy watching it. Get to hear how it started when I had the first idea ever for the song. Usually, like, so the way that like my songwriting process goes is like I'll get like a melody just stuck in my head. I think it's like pretty similar for a lot of different musicians. Like I'll get a melody stuck in my head, and I kind of just like figure out what kind of chords to put underneath it. And it's usually like the chorus melody. So I started off with the chorus, which is the section that goes, let it fall, let it wash it all out. So this is like the first demo, and then you'll just see it progress. I'll just stop talking, I'll just play it. Wash it all, ebb and flow. Where will the raindrops go? Oh, let it drip every bit by bit. Surely I feel it now, let it release. Every song a sense of longing until it all. Isn't that cool? We started working on this like what, late 2022, like November 2022. But yeah, like so this was just literally like the first idea that I had right here. This part. Yeah, so that was that was like the earworm that wriggled its way into my brain. And I think that like how it usually goes is like I will like sing it on iPhone voice memo, and then I kind of just let it stew for a bit, and then I'll put the voice memo into Logic. And then that's where I start doing like the instrumental sketching, and then yeah. So as you can see, like for me the process was like melody first, and then like chords, kind of at the same time. But then like, yeah, like, lyrics came way after. I hardly ever start writing lyrics from the start unless like I have a song idea that's born from like a concept that I want to write down first. In which case, like, yeah, I'll just write the lyrics. I'll write some lyrics first. But I found personally that lyrics are very difficult to start off with because for me, like, you have to kind of get the rhythm and flow of a melody going first. And then you can squeeze the syllables into it after the fact. It's so much harder to take something that's already written and try to make a melody out of it. Does that make sense? So like, for example, like, you know, this chorus I have da 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 da. That's like the rhythm, right? So like, I have such an easier time choosing words that fit into like da da da. So like, I could just hear like, oh yeah, like let it fall, that like, that works perfectly. But if I started with words, I would have a lot more difficult of a time giving them a melodic quality. Does that make sense? That makes sense. So usually when I do sketches like this, I'll start with just these little like melodic ad-libs. When I send them to people, like if I'm working with a vocalist, like I'll start with like just that little sketch, and then yeah, that's kind of like how it started. Oh yeah, and then like that was also my little concept art of the artwork that I passed off to Xiao, our artist. That was like, me and Jazz, we kind of want something like this, like where we're just like lying in the rain, getting rained on, like so moody, and like Xiao like took it to the next level. She put us like in a body of water. I was like, hell yeah. This is so dramatic. I love it. And yeah, it was really interesting too, because I don't know if you could see, actually I'll scrub through the video. Where was it? Okay, so you can see in that little thumbnail up at the very top, the artwork actually started out as like a daytime composition. Like, so the sky was like clearing, and then I think like there came a point where we were just like, but what if it's like super overcast and dark, you know? And then it kind of like, there's like a color shift at the end when we do like the modulation. So like, you know, it goes up a key. Like what if that's what happens? And so that's ultimately the route that we went for. And then yeah, it's like oh yeah. And this was the Discord chat when I heard Jazz's first like test recordings of the vocal. There's this really silly gif of Homer Simpson standing in the rain, just like, and it does like a 360 around him, and that was me. Like, I literally cried when I heard it. I was like standing in the rain with tears flowing down my face. Aww. Yeah, if you look up like Homer Simpson rain on Discord, you'll find it, and it's beautiful and glorious. And so that's kind of how that went. And then oh yeah, and then Clay. Okay, so like here's like a little picture of like some of the movie magic that Clay did. So Clay like took like the layers of the art, so you can see like there's like the ocean, the mountains, the sky, us, and Clay like put them all on separate layers in a 3D space so that he could like move the camera through it. It's freaking weird. It's like black magic. So it kind of like, here, I'll play this little part. So like you kind of go like up into the mountain, into the sky. Right there. Like, what is that? That's so cool. cool. It's so cool. Yeah, so that's the little behind the scenes video. I'll probably play it again a bit later for anyone who joins us late, but for now I guess we can go into the actual project file and I can show you the little bits and pieces that make up the arrangement. How long was the song just that chorus loop before you developed the other parts? I think that I was kind of actually working on the verses and stuff as well at the same time, but that little loop, I just remember exporting it at that time because that was the most solid concept that I had for the song to share with Jazz, because they just weren't really fleshed out yet. I find that the verses for me always come last, the verse top line and whatnot. In terms of production, I was kind of working on everything at the same time, so it wasn't just only the chorus section in my project. I had a whole little skeleton structure laid out, but yeah, it just wasn't refined yet, if that makes sense. Yeah. I typically always start with writing what would be considered the biggest section in a song first, and then I work backwards, because I find that it's much easier to arrange a composition if you already have everything that kind of will be going on, and then you can kind of take bits and pieces out of that. That's how I like to do it. Yeah. One question I want to ask that I know you asked you before, but for the sake of immortalizing it in the breakdown, how did you justify having that F/F sharp dissonance in the verses? I don't know. It kind of just sounded alright to me. because I don't, the rest of the voicing kind of goes away during that part, and it's just the root note, and I don't know, I found that it kind of fit with the message of the song, because it starts out pretty sad and then hopeless, and then as it goes you kind of start to gain that optimism, and you start to hear more of the quote-unquote major voicings come out in some of the chord movements versus the dissonance in the first part. That was definitely the intended effect. Yeah. I mean, because literally the line is, it's comforting but it's bittersweet, and that's exactly how I wanted it to feel, bittersweet. I want a little question too, if that's okay. Do you always change scales when writing chords? It just sounds so special. Oh, alright, so full disclaimer, everyone, I've talked about this periodically before, but I actually have never studied music theory, so if you have any questions in regards to the actual theory behind the composition, I won't be able to help you out much. But if you mean are you talking about when I modulate up at the end to the higher key, or are you talking about spicy chords that kind of go outside of the typical established scale? Let me know which one you're talking about. I need it a little bit simplified. Spicy chords kind of in an unexpected way, in this one bossa nova song you've made. It's just so interesting to listen to. Ah, I see. So I'm kind of weird, I feel if I don't do a quote unquote deviation, a spicy chord, I feel I mean, this might be a little harsh, but I feel it's not interesting to listen to. I'm kind of a little bit of a stickler about making music that's interesting to listen to, and something that kind of keeps your attention and kind of keeps you on your toes a little bit when you're listening. The way that I do it is I usually can kind of hear in my head the jump that I want to make, and so I just drag around MIDI notes for an hour until it sounds kind of like what I hear in my head. And that's really how I write music, in general, actually. So usually, like, I can hear like, ah, like, I need something spicy right here, and I can hear like maybe the root note in my brain, and then like the bass note, and then I have to like kind of just drag stuff around until it kind of like scratches that itch. Does that make sense? So we're gonna look at the project file now. So this is the project. It's very collapsed. Here is Jazz's vocal stack. Kind of did this in like a weird way. It's like I have like each section on its own track for some reason. I don't know why I did it this way. It's very inefficient. So these are all Jazz. And then this is me. Here are my harmonies, ad-libs, and the main. Because I do come in and actually sing some stuff. So like, what section was this? This is, yeah, like the verse I come in. We do like a little back and forth section, for the verses. So that's me. So I like to break them up in a specific way. Like, this is what makes the most sense for me intuitively when I'm working on a song. So I have a chordal section and I have an ornamental section. Well, what does that mean? So chordal section are like instruments that are carrying the chords of a song. So, you know, like usually I'll put like a piano in this stack. I'll put the sub bass in that stack. Anything that has like information that I would consider to be chordal. And then on the other hand, I have ornamental. So ornamental, for me, this means like accents. So think accents, think any instruments that are playing a sort of like support role in a song. And that's kind of what we've got going on there. So this song is really interesting because I actually have more going on in the ornamental stack than I do in the chordal stack. The chordal stack is kind of, there's not much going on there. But first of all, I'll let you take a listen to like just the vocals on their own. We'll kind of go through like what I have on the processing for it. The first ad-libby stuff. Hopefully you can hear that. So those are like the intro ad-libs, and automation, baby. So there's a lot of automation in this song. I do a lot of swells. I think that swells are so cool, and they're just cool and lovely. And so, in the intro section, I have it do this little like quick swell up on a curve, and then it like drops down. So play that again. There you go. Yeah, so that's like it kind of like goes up and then just bottoms out. That's how you get things that like really hit. Is there a reason why you draw in volume automation manually as opposed to, say, using a compressor? So I do use a compressor, but I like to use it very, what's the term? Modestly? Sometimes there's certain nuance that I like to capture. Oh, here it is. Purely with automation. Do you mess around with instruments to find out what goes into it, or do you have an idea from the start? Oh no, Howl, I usually go into every project like completely blindfolded. I'm always stumbling. And that's why like it's kind of difficult for me to mentally get over the idea of streaming my workflow because it's a lot of stumbling and not a lot of like being able to see how it's coming together. Do counter melodies count as ornamental, or are they chordal? If it's anything involving a top melody, and not like actual chord chunks, then they are ornamental. Yeah. So we'll continue on. So we have Melodyne for some light tuning correction, I have D-click. I have a little bit, very, very gentle auto tune. I find that sometimes like it just a smidge of it feels right. Um, and then I have de-esser, EQ, neutron. Neutron is mostly for compression. I use neutron for compression, and then I have a multi-band compressor that's kind of like pulling down some resonances. And then I have delay. This is just like basic Logic delay. Um, so yeah, I'll just like play. Gray mornings. So could you kind of hear how it's like bouncing around on the sides a little bit? Um, that is what this is doing. So gray mornings, it's comforting. Oh, oops, I forgot to fade that. Take a step. What's next? Yeah. And so that's what the delay is doing. Soothe, gotta love it. So soothe is kind of just taming some. This like tames harshness in audio. This is taming around like 5.6K, like 900 to 1K, 300 to 400, and then 10 to 11. I'll solo each band so you can hear what it's doing. In petrichor, slave that I chose, in every song a sense of. So that's like our de-esser, the purple one, and then the 5K one. In petrichor, slave that I chose. And then we have the 900 to 1K one. In petrichor, slave that I chose. This one I find that like in recordings, like vocal recordings, there's a lot of like boominess or like resonance that happens like right here particularly. So we roll off that one a little bit too, and then 300 to 400. This is like the low muffled. Fresh air is, it kind of brings a little bit of sparkle back into the voice, so it adds like high-end information. So like, I don't know how I would explain it. Like you know, like this, the kind of like the brightness. Think of it as like a sharpen filter. It's a sharpen filter. So this is what I have it on right now. I mix vocals really surgically, and I don't recommend doing it this way because it will cause you hours of pain and suffering. So those are the effects that I have on the vocal. So we have the delay, and that's it actually, just delay. Everything else was like processing for the mix portion. But I tried something interesting here where I don't usually do this because it takes a lot of time to set up. You put your reverb on a separate track and then you sidechain it to the quote-unquote dry vocal. So like, what does that mean? So how do I explain this in layman's terms? Alright, so you have reverb, right? You all know what reverb is, right? Think like the sound it makes when you sing in a big church and it just bounces off the walls, okay? Oh yeah, this is reverb. Reverb. So instead of putting it directly on the vocal chain, I put it on a separate track and I set it up through a little bit of dark magic and alchemy. I set it up so that the vocals or the reverb ducks down and it gets quiet when she's singing, and then as her like word ends that she's singing, the reverb comes up in volume and it fills up the space. So why do people do this? Well, it's really good for mixing because if the reverb is also playing at the same time that the dry vocals are playing, you're having both of those playing together. But if you have it so that we call it sidechain. If you have it so it's side chaining to it, that means that you get less it gets less muddled while the person is singing. So I hope that makes sense, but I'll show you what I mean. So I'll play just the reverb track so you can hear what it's doing. So do you hear how it's kind of like ducking down a little bit sometimes? Like it's not playing at like a consistent volume. Oh my gosh. Sorry, hang on. My fan just fell over. 1 second. That scared the daylights out of me. I don't know if you could tell that it was kind of ducking a little bit instead of playing at a consistent volume. So think of it as like making space for the vocals. So this is together now with the reverb. Gray mornings, it's comforting. Take a step, what's next? In petrichor, it's life that I chose. In every song, a sense of longing and... Oh, I also did something kind of funky here. I don't... Was it this part? Song, a sense of so... this was just kind of for fun, but I had it so that when she sang in every song, a sense of longing, on those two, I had the reverb go up. So it kind of becomes like bigger right there, just for fun. I don't know. It's kind of like an interesting, subtle little touch that I... In every song, a sense of longing and... Do you hear that? Yeah, so like the automation is really messy. Like there are no values that stay the same, and I don't recommend doing that just for mixing sake. But I just am a messy worker, so pretend that these are all clean but the like general movement of the dots is like what is still gonna happen regardless. And also the reason why the words kind of break up is because Jazz had to do some re-recordings because of whatever reason, like either mouth clicks or room noise or whatever. So I had to put those on separate tracks because I think they needed entirely different processing, which was like a challenge. So these are like the missing words right there, and it has like entirely different processing on it. Yeah, so like the word this was right there, this, and then it continues life that I chose. Oh yeah, and then at the ends of the verses we have the reverb. The reverb comes up. If the clouds will guide me home. Did you hear that? So that's something that I really like to do when it comes to like effects, you know? So I like to automate the reverb up at the ends of phrases, and it really helps to kind of like smoothly transition into the next section if you're using something that's like very reverb heavy. I guess like in theory you could do something like this with like any type of effect. So let's say like you could like raise the delay a lot, make it bounce more. But for me, I just like the long, big reverb tail coming up and in. Clouds will guide me home. I think that's about everything in regards to the processing that I did on Jazz's vocals. Oh yeah, I did the same thing at the end of the chorus. So where will the raindrops go? Let it drip. Ah, see, did you hear how the reverb comes up at the end there? Raindrops go. Yeah. Let it drip. And then at the end of the chorus, let it release. And then next up, we're going to go on to my vocals. But yes, she did an absolutely incredibly beautiful performance on this song, and it was truly like so wonderful to work with such a skilled vocalist. She pretty much nailed it, so everything was just playing with effects and fitting it into the atmosphere. I just want to play the beginning ad-libs for you all again, because this was like pretty cool. Oh, that's me. It's interesting because this part, like the very first little riff for the run, I don't know if any of you can actually tell, but that's reversed. this is reversed. Reverse singing right here. I don't know why. I'm kind of a sucker for reversed stuff. There's actually a lot of reverse stuff in here that I don't know if you all could pick out. Let me unreverse it and see how it sounds. Yeah, so it's just like little like chops that I made. Little chops that I made of like another ad-lib that she sung at a different time. And then that became that. Pretty cool, huh? I'm a sucker for it. What can I say? The whole time I thought that was TOFIE's vocals because I don't remember recording that. Yeah, it was you. I did some cheeky wizardry. All right, so we'll continue on. I'm gonna show you all what I did, I guess. Sing harmonies. There's left and right. Here is me and Jazz harmonizing together. So let it fall, let it fall, let it wash it off. Oh, ebb and flow, where will the raindrops go? Let it drip, let it drip, every bit by bit. Surely I feel it now, let it release. So that's like the main harmony. So during the verses, we do a little back and forth too. Oh wait, not there. Here. Open up your soul and then feel it all come pouring. The strength to write this story. So I played a little support role. What do we have going on here? So there's like this main stack of left and right, which are the main harmonies. I have pretty much just reverb. So we got it on a. This was before I started using like musical values. So I was using seconds before, but you can also. So this is like musical values, like half bar, 1 bar, 1.5. I use those now. And then yeah, we got like it has like not fully dry. We got some wet, you know, got some attack, a density, you know, got some EQ to tame it a little bit, and we have that going on both sides. And it's the same thing for this one. This is just +1. I processed it differently. So these are that, and then we have ad-libs. Oh, the ad-lib M is interesting because I have tremolo on it. What is tremolo? Well, tremolo is like, it basically goes back and forth, left to right. Think of it as like panning. Like panning. So it's like auto panning. So what is it doing here? Oh, this is like that. This is when I ad lib on it. So let it fall, let it fall, let it wash it all. Ebb and flow, where will the raindrops go? Let it drip, every bit by bit. Surely I feel it now, in and out, let it release. See how it kind of traveled to like your right ear? So that's what that's doing. I have little ad-libs going on during the choruses, so like at the ends of like each half, I'll go, where did the raindrops go? I'll play that again if you didn't catch it. Ebb and flow, where will the raindrops go? Let it drip, yeah, like that. So I really like love doing panning, panning play in my music. I think it adds a lot to the vocal experience. It almost feels like binaural beats. So there's a lot of that going on. And that's pretty much all that I do. It's just, you know, silly stuff on the sides. I suppose we can go into like the musical elements now. So the chordal section is pretty bland again. Like there's not a lot going on, but I'll take you through each track, what it's doing. Okay, so a lot of these clips are muted. I do this a lot when I'm like stumbling through a project trying to like arrange. I usually like write stuff and then I just mute it and I just keep it there in case I'll ever need it, but I probably won't. So the piano too, this is just a regular piano. I'm using Imagiro. This is the main piano that I use for everything. What is this one doing? So, oh, okay, so this is for the cool down. So the cool down is like when things get a little bit softer and more gentle after the chorus. Yeah. That's like it. And then again in the second chorus. Second chorus. And it's quiet because everything's been mixed together, so this is kind of just where it fit in the song. So, in the second chorus, this adds a little bit of beef to it, a little bit of beefiness. Yeah, but that doesn't play on the first chorus. So I usually build things up way more on the second choruses. So that's the piano layer. We have a pad layer. This is doing this, more chord stack. This is like the dreamy chord stack. And then it cuts right there. And then it comes back in. Cut. I like to do a lot of cuts, like sudden cuts. They really add to the dynamics. We have a swell going on it right before the second verse. And it was kind of like a weird thing. And then we have another swell coming into the second chorus. Like that. And then it kind of just rises a bit. So this pad kind of functions as like a shimmery thing that I like to use for the transitions. but it definitely, so I like to do like the swells going into the next section. They're pretty subtle, but they do add a lot to the atmosphere. And like, I would say like the main area where this instrument really shines is the intro. The intro is very dreamy. Yeah, so this was made with Spitfire Labs. This is literally just one of their presets. I use a lot of I use a lot of presets. I'm not really good at sound designing from scratch, so this is from their textural pads pack, and then I just added Valhalla Shimmer to it, which is a really cool reverb thing. So without Valhalla Shimmer, this is what it sounds like. Pretty different, huh? But the Valhalla Shimmer makes it really big. Yeah, and I'd say like, there's a lot of talk about like, oh, the best reverb, but I'd say if you're looking for a reverb that can get really gigantic, like 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 interstellar levels of gigantic, check out Valhalla Shimmer because it has a lot of like functionality. All right, so next up, so that's the pad that kind of brings us into the song. And then I don't know what this. Oh, so there's like two different pianos that I have going on. There's one. I think they just have like different processing on them. So this is Lounge Lizard. This is Lounge Lizard, which is a really nice electric piano. I enjoy this one quite a lot. And this is what it's doing. It's basically just playing the chord stacks right at the start. Oh wait, sorry, it's not soloed. I'll play it again. Pretty simple. Oh, whoa, what's going on here? Um, what is this window? Oh, there we go. I haven't even shown you all like the MIDI yet. So this is the MIDI for that. It's really simple. We got that's our little like walking bass, and then these are the stacks. And that's kind of like the pattern that plays all throughout. Does it just literally play again on this one? Let's see. Oh, it goes down. It goes down. It goes down. Ah, there we go. And it kind of just plays again. And then so that's our E piano. That once again that is Lounge Lizard, and then we have another E piano that plays during the cooldown, and that is doing this. That is doing this. Whoa. Oh, it fades in. That's why. I don't know why I have that one on a separate track. That could have been on the same track. Well, Anyways, that's the electric piano layer. And then we have our sub. Then we have our sub. Pretty straightforward. This is just a serum. This is just a serum. Why can't I make this smaller? Oh god, there we go. It's a very basic sub. Let's play that. There we go. It's hard having one monitor. You can barely hear it. But okay, this is the pattern. We go C up to E and then down, up, down. Yeah. It's kind of awkward showing these off one by one because they're like so quiet. But that all comes together to make our very tiny little chordal section. Oh yeah, and then we have the reverse piano. So this is Imagio piano on reverse mode. This is Imagio on reverse mode. So pretty cool. I love that feature. It adds a lot of cool texture. Yeah, so this is what that's doing. I feel like most of the sauce comes in the ornamental section, but as you can see, the chordal section is carried by the electric piano chord stacks, and then the sub bass, and then the reverse piano is kind of doing accents on top of that with the chord stacks played in reverse. So that's kind of what I had going on with that. Alright, so next up we're gonna go into the ornamental section. This is actually where most of the instrumental stuff is happening. Oops, that's the wrong one. Let's turn that on. Alright. So first of all, we have our wonderful, beautiful cello. What is a cello? Well, I'll show you what a cello is. That's the sound. That's the guy. So this is Labs once again. This is Cello Moods Pack C Tension. So I really like this texture a lot. It's very eerie. It's like so angsty. It's super angsty, and it gave the intro like just enough bite for me. So that right there is like that's like the money note right there. So that's what that sound is. And then we have this thing that I call glass arp. This is just Logic Sculpture. This is Sculpture, which is like a nice synth for getting like organic textures. I don't really know how to use it that well, to be honest, but I somehow stumbled upon this exact combination of things, and so this is what the glass arp sounds like. Little sparkly accents. And so that also has the tremolo going on. The tremolo, once again, is making it pan from left to right. So if I turn it off, this is how it sounds. But then when I turn the tremolo on, this is what we get. Headphone users will only be able to hear this. But yeah, it's basically going from left to right. And then there's a delay on it as well. Without the delay, this would be... But the delay adds a bit more airiness and makes it bounce off the walls more. And that kind of just like fades down. And that's our glass ARP. So that's providing a lot of like really nice twinkly rhythm throughout the project. I don't know why I just hit save. That kind of sucks. Adds a lot of nice twinkliness, and it kind of keeps a little bit of a rhythm going because it's going back and forth at a set interval. How long have you been producing? I started in I want to say March of 2016, so it's been a little bit over 8 years now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next up we have a top piano. Wow, this is pretty. This is literally just here to provide little accents at certain points. So this is all it's doing. This is Imagero piano again. That's it. What part of this even? Let me get some vocals coming back in here. Oh, sorry, that's loud. Oh, that's it. Dun, dun, dun. So it's like a little like transition little ditty thing. That's all that's doing. And then over here we have a little run that it does. Guide me home, so let it fall, let it fall, let it wash it up. That's it right there. Into the chorus. And that's it. We love little details like that. Next up we have piano support. So this is playing like a counter progression, or like a counter riff in relation to the main chords. So in fact I will excuse me, solo that and then solo the piano support track so you can hear what it's doing. You know, you have like the main chord stack, but then you have this playing on top of it to add some rhythm. Pretty simple little ditty right there, but I found that it added some nice counter rhythm, counter melody. Oh god, it's loud, sorry. So that kind of just goes throughout the song, and then what is it doing right here? Oh yeah, just another little like ear candy thing, and then it does it again in the second part of the second chorus. Or sorry, second part of the chorus. First chorus. I found that it really helped with movement. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. I hope that this is interesting to music makers and non-music makers alike. That's my hope. I hope I'm explaining it in a way that still allows everyone to participate. And then next up we have a lot of rainy bells, which are like one of my favorite little accents to put in to music. So what is this doing? This is what this is doing. Little twinkly stuff. Oh, this does something really cool right here. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It does a little thingy at the end. So this is like super distant, a super distant type of sound that adds some twinklies. This is what Valhalla Shimmer looks like. This is the big, this is the big reverb that I have on a lot of this stuff. So this shift thing is like what pitch the reverb sound is. So I have it up an octave, so it's playing like the same sound in the reverb, but like pitched up an octave. And then this is like the size. So check out what it does at the end of this. Watch the knobs. Did you see that? So this plugin freaks out when you change like the size of the reverb. So if you like change this knob right here while you are playing something, it like freaks out and it makes like a weird like pitch bend thing. And so I used that to my advantage, and I used that to make like an ending swell. So at the end here, that's what this blue automation line is doing. This is affecting the size knob. As you can see, it says size and size. And then I have it doing a curve downwards, and then it goes back up. And then doing so while the note is still ringing out causes it to just go crazy. Yeah. So another really cool little effect that we put at the end of the intro, or the first half of the intro, excuse me. Do we do this? We do this at the end of the cooldown as well. And that's that. This is like the verse. So this is like atmospheric ear candy kind of stuff. Oh, but then we have a low one playing as well. What is this low one doing? So this one is just like a little support, but lower. And then going into the second half of the verse. Now this one's playing the counter rhythm. So lots of little twinklies. And then this is on the chorus. It almost sounds like a completely different song when it's just soloed out. But these are like these are like all the little pieces that make up the whole. So this is the lo-fi lead. Lo-fi lead. This is an alchemy. This is an alchemy instrument. Oh, I sampled a cymatics one shot. I sampled a cymatics one shot in this synth. And then this is how it sounds. I've actually used this one in other songs before because I'm a big believer in like reusing your patches. Like if you make a cool patch, I firmly believe that you should use it again and again and again because it kind of like helps to develop your sound palette and it gives you a very recognizable sound. So this is like kind of what this is doing. Okay, I think this is more interesting over here. So it's like a little bit of like a solo lead, kind of. I guess you could say that's kind of like a lead. And it really has an interesting tone to it. So I think that's neat. So I put it just all throughout at like little random places. Okay, and now here, this is the part that I feel really shines throughout the song. Like I think this instrument carries the song rhythmically. This is the carry right here, and it's, of course it's the very last one almost, but this is our mandolin stack. These are our mandolins. We have a middle, left, and right, and this is what it's doing. This is what it's doing. Yeah, so this is like the main like plucked string that plays all throughout that carries the rhythm. So we start off with one solo and then it goes left and right. And then one side is playing one octave and the other is playing an octave down. So you kind of get the super wide feeling from it. So like, you know, this is just like one part. And then you have the octaves differing left and right. Hear that? Yeah. And so that carries like the main rhythm of the song. Yeah, so that is the main plucky plucks and it carries so much. It's comforting, yet it's bittersweet. Take a step. Sounds like a different song, huh? But if I combine that with the chords, this is what you get. Gray mornings, it's comforting, yet it's bittersweet. Take a step, what's next? Do you still hear it calling in petrichor? This life that I chose, in every song a sense of longing until it all unfolds. There we go, all of the rain. big jazz. So that's as you can see, the mandolin stacks add a lot of rhythmic information to the piece, and that was actually, I think, like one of the first things that I started with when I was writing the demo of this song. So I'd say like everything else kind of came around this main like dun 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 rhythm that I had going on here. Yeah. All right, so that's our ornamental section. So if we were to put this all together, this is kind of what's going on here. Only the ornamental section and vocals. Oh, just kidding. Where's the vocals? It's comforting, yet it's bittersweet. Take a step. What's next? It's a lot brighter without the like deep chords, you know? But I kind of like that juxtaposition. In petrichor, this life that I chose. In every song, a sense of longing until it all unfolds. There we go. All of the rainbows I could know. If the clouds would guide me home, so let it fall, let it fall, let it wash it all. Oh, ebb and flow, where will the raindrops go? Let it drip, every bit by bit. Surely I really know, let it release. And then bring the chords in. Let it fall, let it wash it all. Oh, ebb and flow, where will the raindrops go? Let it drip, every bit by bit. Surely I really know, let it release. So you got a little bit of a deeper layer with the chords, but I will say, like, I like hearing just the ornamental section too. It feels very sparkly and open, and they definitely have an interesting relationship to each other. So that's like those are like the melodic sections, and now I'll take you through the percussion. Ha ha, the percussion, yay! My favorite thing to write. Well, to be fair, it's like percussion and sound effects. I like to add a lot of like sound effects and Foley into my music. Hand over the album. I'm trying still. I'm trying. Do you know how long it takes me to make a song? Do you know? Shakes my laptop. Do you know how long it took me to write this song? I think it took me like 2 or 3 months, man. That's like full-time work too. Listen, I have a problem and I can't be fixed. Alright, percussion time. Alright, so I have these really... Whoa! Listen, let me show you this. It's cool, I promise. Alright, so we have vocal swell track. Oh! I swear, it's cool. I swear. Look, check this out. So we have vocal swells. What does this do? Why, I'm glad you asked. Check this out. What's that? Oh yeah, this is the percussion. But I'll play that for you again. Play that for you one more time. And that's how the song comes in. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty spicy. So this is just I think what I did was I exported my vocals and then I just reversed it. It's really just that simple. Yeah. And then it plays elsewhere. Right here, I think. Something. So I put those like right before a new section would start. Really cool effect. I swear, everyone. If you want to know my secret sauce, I'll tell you right now here on live television. Just put some type of swelling thing before a new section starts, and that's it. That's how you make it sound cool, alright? What else? This is just like a mini one. Oh yeah, another one right there. And there you go. Just sprinkle those throughout, and then next up, first of all, in our percussion stack, we have a nice handy dandy trusty shaker with a delay on it. So this is making it bounce around. This is without. Right, just one. But then this is how you make like ghost rhythms. Well, I call them ghost rhythms. I don't know if that's the right term, but if you want like a really effortless way to like fill up percussive space, just put a delay on something and then it plays multiple percussions. And I call those ghost rhythms. And that's that. Delay on shaker is pretty goated, so don't forget about that one. And then transitioning into our sections, we have our timpani and bongo stack. So this is what this is doing. So this, I put this on a stack so I could, what did I have going on this? Oh yeah, so I compressed it as a stack and then I have some reverb going on it. So I wanted them to all feel like they're in one space together. And so that's how you can do that, is by putting all your percussion in a stack and putting the reverb on that stack. Yeah. And so it's just playing like a little bongo rhythm. Ooh, we also have a gong that plays at the start of certain sections, as well as I have this little cymatics loop that plays for some texture. I liked this one a lot. It has a nice little bite to it. It kind of bites through the mix. And then, so Miss Jazz was like, I really want a shishi odoshi. It's one of those like Japanese like bamboo fountains that you have one that pours into the other one, and then when it gets full enough, it tips out and it like clunks and then it goes back. And so Miss Jazz was like, I really want that sound in the song, and I was like, yes ma'am. So that's like the little clacking sound that you hear like right here. That right there. I'll solo it. It's comprised of two different samples stacked on top of each other. Yeah. So just a little detail. And then there's the shishiodoshi, and then we have our like intro shimmer that we put at the start of sections. This thing. Just a little. And then there's a second one that I use for the second halves of the choruses. Yeah. And then what else? And we have some bird sounds too. This comes in on the second verse when she says good morning for the immersion. You hear that? Hopefully you can hear that. Those are the little birds that came in, and oh, the I want to show you the gong as well. So this starts in the second half of the intro. This is like a little gong hit. Oh, I love gongs so much. They're so cool. So that adds a lot to like the and then of course we have our rain sounds. These are from the Cymatics Life Packs. Very quiet, but it has to be quiet or it will bring the noise floor up way too much. So, all together, this is what our percussion folder is doing. And then on the chorus, this is how it sounds because it's more involved in the choruses. This is what's going on. Oh, sorry, that got loud. So, bring her back in. Oh, wait. Oh, ebb and flow, where will the raindrops go? Let it drip, every bit by bit. Surely I really know, let it release. And that's what's going on with the percussion. Pretty straightforward. I don't think anything super crazy happens after that. So I think I've gone through everything in the project. Those are all the pieces that make up the song. So I hope that was interesting to watch. Oh yeah, but I was saying, like, I guess it's just a little peek into what goes into an original song production. All in all, I think that something like this is probably, like I said, about 2 to 3 months of work full time for me. So I know, like, that probably seems a little mind-boggling, but honestly, it's because I do a lot of detail work, and that takes up like the majority of the time for me, because I'm a little bit of a maximalist. So in a pretty maximalist song like this, like, that's about roughly how long it took. Yeah. Thanks again for tuning into the music segment. Thanks for watching the track breakdown. I really hope that it was insightful and interesting, and I really appreciate all of the questions and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the chatting screen now.